Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. What a beautiful and brilliant moment in history we have just witnessed. President Trump making the greatest comeback of all time against all of the odds to absolutely crush Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election.
Let's vote! Let's get out the 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 vote! Let's win!
And whilst we are here basking in the glorious sunshine of this moment on our face, there are many people around the world who aren't quite so happy about this. These people would include the liberal mainstream media, the Democrats, who are basically the same.
Ron! Ron, where are you?
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Cenk Uygur and other forms of alternative liberal media and random mentally ill TikTokers. And today, guys, we're going to cover them all. But before we get there, guys, I want to remind you of the confidence that these people had before the election of how Kamala Harris was going to win it. And we were going to have our first woman of color. Let's reminisce for a moment.
I have sources inside the Kamala Harris operation, and I can tell you this. As of this morning, Kamala Harris and her people are 100% confident. They're not in the least bit worried. They are 100% confident, and they're saying, do not worry about it. Don't worry about the polls. Don't listen to the polls. We have this in the bag.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alyssa. I am a Democratic strategist. If you've been following me, you know that I have long maintained since the beginning of August that this election was going to be a complete blowout for Harris in her direction because Trump is not running a serious campaign. But if you're not going to take my word for it, take the Harris campaign's most recent move, which is that 30 minutes ago, they sent me an email inviting me to a rally tonight in D.C. at Howard University, Vice President Harris's alma mater. For Harris to announce at the last minute that she's going to hold a rally in D.C. at her alma mater tells me that the campaign is incredibly confident going into election night and that they expect to win and that they expect to win big and that they are planning a party.
In my humble view, lights out.
Please welcome back the next president of the United States.
I think it's going to be a blowout, actually. I don't think it's going to be a close race. I think there are going to be those Republicans that just vote for Harris.
It'll be tied on Election Day, as always it will. The polls will be tied, and then he'll lose.
You call us trash? Oh, J.D. Vance, you just stepped up in a way that I've never seen in my political life, and I worked for Sarah Palin.
Then I would say take Harris over 270 electoral votes. Let these fools in these crypto markets do something. Let them drive the betting line into a favorable place and then take advantage of it. That's what I would do. I think she's going to win.
This month you wrote Trump is toast. Do you stand behind that today?
Oh, even more so. I feel the same way that I felt a few weeks ago that Trump is toast.
You know what I'm going to do when Kamala Harris wins?
What?
I'm going to get pregnant and then have like 50 abortions.
Oh my God.
So guys, after all of this confidence and all of this gloating, obviously the chickens have to come home to roost. And we saw what happened during the election. And there were just some of the most beautiful moments you've ever seen of these people slowly having the life force drained out of their body as they realize that Trump is going to win.
Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy, yummy, guys.
And now for the cope, the rage, and the seethe. And if you guys, even for one moment, feel so much as a little bit of sympathy for these people, just remember how they were the ones who called MAGA supporters and Trump supporters fascists. And they kept on doing this even after he nearly had his head blown off in front of the entire world. They knew exactly what they were aiming for with these comments, and they deserve every single bit of what is happening right now. Let's just briefly have a look at some of those comments.
Here's the warning. You all have set it up, but let me take it a step further, please, if I may. This is called normalization.
Yes.
This is the descent into fascism if we so choose.
We've laid out the stakes in this crucial election, where one side stands for freedom while the other meets the textbook definition of fascism, namely a far-right dictatorial regime like Hitler's Germany or Franco's Spain or Mussolini's Italy, but also white-ruled South Africa before Mandela and the black majority took control, or Vladimir Putin's Russia, Viktor Orban's Hungary, or Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela today, that suppresses the rights of women and minorities, uses the military to execute the whims of a strongman dictator, and controls and suppresses the press, education, the arts, rewrites history to suit a favored and dominant racial class, and foments extravagant corruption in order to enrich the dictator and his friends.
So guys, before we watch all of the rage and the seethe, I'd like to mention that it is obvious that the only reason these people will be staying in business over the next 4 years, CNN, MSNBC, etc., is because Donald Trump got elected. And now they've got something to talk about. But this is just all the more reason why you cannot trust these people anymore. They are done, and this is why I support the sponsor of today's video, Ground News. In today's media landscape, staying informed and avoiding propaganda is genuinely very difficult. And with so many misleading narratives, how can we trust the news? Well, let me introduce you to Ground News, your go-to app and website that gathers tens of thousands of articles and sources from around the globe, all in one place. Now, every morning, my first point of call is to go to Ground News and see what's happening around the world. And my favorite feature is the blind spot feature. This allows you to see which stories are not being reported by left, right, and center. As you can see here, perfect example, Democrat Bob Casey embraces Trump trade in new Senate ad. Being reported 0% by the left and center. I wonder why the left wanted to stifle that story. Furthermore, we can see Trump leading Harris in all major swing state polling averages as campaign hits home stretch. And when we click into these stories, we can see how they're being reported by left, if they're being reported at all, center, and right. And guys, I've been using Ground News for years, since way before I ever had a single YouTube subscriber, and when I was going through a blonde phase. Here's the proof from 2021. An interesting one that I follow is called Ground News. And here's the best part. For the month of November, Ground News are offering a massive 50% off the Vantage plan, which is what I use. So all you got to do is hit that QR code on the screen right here, or go to ground.news/rattlesnake. That's ground.news/rattlesnake, and stay armed and dangerous with a comprehensive news diet. Let's get back to the video. So guys, with that, now let's watch the mainstream media rage as they go in to an absolute frenzy, blaming white women, blaming other racial groups and gender groups, without ever once so much as even hesitating for a moment to have a brief, glancing, introspective look in the mirror.
Evidently, the majority of basically whites in this country willing to accept a dishonorable human being, someone who has been convicted of 34 felonies, someone who has been openly and brazenly racist, someone who has, talked about his love for Putin and Kim Jong-un and made some statements favorable to Hitler. It doesn't matter.
Well, this is all why you don't like him, but why has America voted for him?
Racism is the basic point. People don't like to talk about racism, but the fact of the matter is the majority of his votes are going to come from whites. And that's who has been talking to all campaign about taking the country back. Taking it back from whom? Taking it back from too many minorities who are doing too well, who are succeeding, who are closing the wealth gap. And something has to be done in his estimation. And so that's what it's really all about. It's not about the economy and all that, people would like to basically hide behind. It's about white versus other.
Just a quick reminder in between this rage, guys, don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. It does help me out enormously. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, you're welcome to do so. Let's get back to it.
But it's looking possible tonight that Donald Trump has won the popular vote. Are you saying that the majority of Americans are racists?
I'm saying the majority of the Americans will buy into anything as long as they believe that somehow they will have more advantage, they will have more ownership, that they don't have to worry about others who will be equal to them. You can call it what you want, but that's the way it is.
It looks, Congressman Walters, as if he's expanded his base to include more black voters, more Latino voters, more people of colour this time round. I mean, not more than Harris, but more than last time round. Doesn't that fight your theory?
Well, I don't know. We've got to wait and see. I don't know what the expansion is. There may be some expansion in the Latino community, but all of this talk about getting black votes, I don't think it's true.
I just say, Rev, really quickly, too, Democrats need to be mature, and they need to be honest. And they need to say, yes, there's misogyny. But it's not just misogyny from white men. Mm-hmm. It's misogyny from Hispanic men. Right. It's misogyny from black men, things we've all been talking about, who do not want a woman leading them. Might be race issues with Hispanics. They don't want a black woman as president of the United States. You know, the Democratic Party, I've always found when you're sitting around talking, they love to just sort of balkanize everybody into these separate groups and say, oh, white people don't like women and black people. No, it is time for the Democrats to say, okay, and you and I have talked about this before, a lot of Hispanic voters have problems with black candidates.
Right.
A lot
and
of,
with other Hispanics. You've got some that don't like each other. And some of the most misogynist things I've heard going on this Get Out the Vote tour came from black men. I mean, misogynist things. So you're absolutely right. It's not simplistic. And we've got to have real honest conversations about it.
Real honest conversations.
And I think it's important to say that, you know, anyone who has experienced or been in the United States for any period of time and experienced this country's history and knows it cannot have believed that it would be easy to elect a woman president, let alone a woman of color. Mm-hmm. Let's just be clear. Mm-hmm. And nothing that was true yesterday about how flawlessly this campaign was run is not true now. I mean, this really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign. Queen Latifah never endorses anyone. She came out and endorsed. You know, I mean, she had every prominent celebrity voice. She had the Taylor Swiftie to the Swifties. She had the Beehive. Like, you could not have run a better campaign in that short period of time. And I think that's still true. I think we have to be blunt about why. Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not. That is what it appears happened in that state, is that if you can't flip enough white women, and we've talked about this on this set numerous times, is that you have a state where you've got a 6-week abortion or a 12-week abortion. I think theirs might be 12 weeks. Yep. But it's a state where women lost their reproductive rights, where there was a very heavy push to get women to focus on not putting in place, re-electing, putting back into the White House the person who was responsible for taking those rights away and restoring them. But that message obviously was not enough to get enough white women to vote for Vice President Harris, a fellow woman. This will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy.
And guys, of course, it would not be a show where we saw dummy spits and baby-like rage without highlighting the one and the only Cenk Uygur, and I covered him extensively during my live stream of the election, if any of you guys were watching that. So let's recap a little bit of that.
Okay, thank you very much. I do not have a question. I would rather have a comment as a member of the Parliament, European Parliament, who was called a fascist, Islamophobe. I was called all these names. And I'm happy that we have this moment of silence now, because I would like to remind you, these people are lecturing us about unity. So I would like to remind you again, they are talking and lecturing us about unity. So now you have a chance to practice what you preach and show the whole nation what the unity in democracy means. You have to have a class to lose, because if you don't have a class when you are losing, you have no right to win.
Cenk, go for it. Go ahead, Cenk.
Yeah, this brother isn't even American. So I don't know what the hell he's chanting USA for. I'll chant USA, not you, okay? And so, second of all, you're talking about losing with class when that bitch Donald Trump tried to steal an election, set to terminate the Constitution, set off a riot, that he didn't mind if his vice president was murdered, bum rushed the Capitol, tried to destroy our democracy. He's the very worst in losing, and losing with no class at all. Here I am telling you that I think the Democratic Party did it wrong. I think they ran a wrong campaign. They're relying on the donors. They've got the wrong strategy. So we are honest about what goes wrong in the Democratic Party and what goes in the Republican Party. Are you guys honest about the fact that Donald Trump tried to steal an election? He's got no class at all.
Patrick, if I may, just one sentence.
Cenk, go for it.
Okay.
Dominic.
Guys, if I can ask you for another moment of silence.
Who the hell is this guy? Are you Viktor Orban's cousin?
Okay. Yes, I'd like to have a conversation. I would like to answer. You asked me why I am in US now. Because I was invited and I came here with my passport. So I was invited, Patrick invited me as a politician to come to US because as a European, as a Polish, I do recognize US as a leader of the free world, and I pay my respect to this country.
Good.
And I came here, my friend, and I came here because I used to live under communism. My country was under communism, and Reagan with John Paul II freed our country, and I will be always grateful to the Republicans of the United States for the freedom of Poland and Europe. And my presence here in America is my way to pay respect to those who freed the world from the communism. And that was America and John Paul II. And I do not want communism back. And Kamala is a communist.
Furthermore, you guys would be shocked to learn that the astrology community actually didn't get their predictions right either.
For the astrology girlies, I just want to know, I have been studying Kamala's charts, and it looks like she is not only going to win, but she is going to be winning a second term. The next 8 years in her chart look really, really strong. Trump's, not so much. Okay, so I was wrong. A lot of astrologers were wrong. A lot of us were wrong. But if you think that right now is the time to tell me that you don't believe in astrology, who gives a f about astrology right now, dude?
Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness.
And then, our favorite part, the mentally ill TikTok liberals did not take long at all to go into full-on meltdown mode.
I was just walking down the street to go get my medication because I'm out and I need it for today. And I saw a woman walking her 2 kids, and she had this look on her face. And I looked at her, we made eye contact, we both kind of nodded. Like we were both just devastated. And you could just tell in her eyes. I can't believe this country did this again.
Hope your day gets better.
Shut the fuck up!
Positive energy.
Shut up! You're not understanding English! What the fuck? Bitch! You fuck! What the hell? Alright guys, it's time to go to bed. None of us are stressed about the election, right? We all are gonna just go have the best night's sleep of our lives, aren't we?
Yummy, guys.
I'm done with you. I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm just done with all of this.
Winner in the Dakota Senate race. It's not going to happen. Republican Kevin
Kamala
will be returning to the Senate from Dakota. ABC News can also project a winner in the Senate race.
Guys, we literally don't even have to panic. We literally don't have to freak out right now. We don't even have to we don't have to freak out. We don't have to freak out because it's not even real. Because, bitch, recount the vote!
Guys, I just voted, and I chose family. Let's end this reign of terror now. I chose family, I chose women, I chose America. I love you.
Yummy, guys.
Slovenia?
I mean, they're still outstanding. Are they not counting them here? What's going on, Vadim?
There you go.
You should know this. Why isn't Philadelphia counting votes?
Call them up.
Call them. Do we have contact? Hello, if you're watching the stream right now and you work in Philadelphia, we'll put you on stream. I'll call you. I want to know what is going on. What the hell is going on right now? Send me pictures. I know you're out there. I know somebody's listening.
So there we have the absolute best of the best of liberal meltdowns from around the internet, guys. And now I think the only question is, do the Democrats do anything from here on? Or do they just accept that they got absolutely smoked beyond any shadow of a doubt in this election and just let Donald Trump take the reins? Time will tell, and we will be here to cover it, guys. So with that, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you're not already, JakeRattlesNK. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also if you'd like to watch another one, right here. Till next time, I'm Jake. This is Rattlesnake TV, keeping you armed and dangerous.